Welcome to the Eczema Warrior podcast. I'm your host, Julia Chen. I'm here to help you heal your eczema naturally so you can finally live your best damn life. Many years ago in my own eczema healing journey, I was stuck and confused on how to heal my skin. Fast forward to today, after many lessons learned and lots of trial and error, I'm now living my best life and traveling the world with clearer skin. If you're an eczema or TSW warrior who desires a life of food freedom and is wanting to heal your skin without steroids while using mindset and manifestation as a tool, you're in the right place. Now let's get into it. Welcome to episode 44 of the Eczema Warrior podcast. Today is a big day, and I realized this literally 2 seconds before hopping on to record this podcast episode. I wanted to look at my statistics when it comes to my podcast. And usually I check it once every few weeks, but I haven't checked it for a while. And I went on the platform today and guess what, you guys? I've hit 10,000 downloads for the podcast. And it's crazy to even see this number and see that 10,000 downloads, which means how many plays I've been getting for this podcast is insane. Considering that I didn't start this podcast too long ago. It was only in February of this year when I started podcasting, and I've been consistent every single week. I think I might have missed 1 week, but I've been releasing episodes every Tuesday since I think it was the middle of February. And now that we're into December, I've hit 10,000 downloads. So I just want to send a huge thank you to all of you who listen to me consistently every week. I appreciate you. This is the whole reason why I continue to record podcast episodes and create content for you guys. It's because you guys always let me know how much you love the podcast, and you're obviously listening to it and downloading it. The statistics show that, and I'm just really grateful, and I'm just so happy that you're here and you're part of the community and you listen to what I have to say. Honestly, without you guys, I wouldn't be here today because, there are some days where I don't know what I'm doing and I don't know if I'm doing enough, and, a whole mindset around feeling like it's not enough, which is obviously a me problem. But to know that you guys listen to my podcast episodes and podcasts in general, it really warms my heart and it keeps me going. And so thank you so much for the bottom of my heart. And if you're new to the podcast and you haven't left a review yet, and maybe you're not new to the podcast, if you can leave me a review and rating on Apple iTunes, that would be amazing. It's going to help this podcast grow organically, which is what I'm all about. And you can go straight to the episode either on Spotify or iTunes actually is where you can leave an actual review. But even if you leave 5 stars, that's going to help a lot as well. So yeah, I just want to share some exciting news when it comes to the podcast and just expressing my gratitude for all of you guys here. Besides that, a little bit of a life update. As you guys know, Christmas is coming. It's actually this weekend, and I hope a lot of you are excited for the holidays. We are going to be taking a short break, and we do this every year over the holidays. We don't do any coaching. We don't do any consultations over the Christmas break, which is going to start for us this coming weekend up until, I believe, January 8th or 9th is when we're going to return to work. That being said, I'm still going to be online on social media. It's really just not taking any calls during that time unless there's any urgent calls, and I may take. But other than that, I hope a lot of you are excited for the holidays, and I'm excited for a little offer that I'm giving away. If you may have heard me talk about a little bit, I'm doing a Christmas gift giveaway. And is for all of you who apply and join one-on-one coaching. I'm going to be sending you a personal gift to your doorstep as a holiday gift. It's my favorite skincare brand, and it's going to be a bundle. So if you've been wanting to work with me and you want to start in December or even entering 2024, a lot of you want to start fresh in 2024, then this is actually the perfect time for you to apply for coaching, because we are raising our prices in 2024. If you want to lock in our current rates, then this is the perfect time before the year ends. And when you apply, I will personally send you a lovely gift, a little treat for you. Again, it's my favorite skincare brand. It's a bundle that I'll send to your home as long as you live in the States or Canada. You'll get this bundle. And yeah, I'm excited to review your application for one-on-one coaching. And for those of you who are curious, one-on-one coaching is going to be for you if you're someone who is looking for a lot of accountability, a lot of support, and you want a personalized protocol that includes a diet and supplement regimen that you can follow for 6 months. So my one-on-one coaching is for 6 months, just like my group coaching. The difference is that for my one-on-one coaching, you get personalized access to me as your coach. You get your own protocol, your own supplement regimen. I get to review your blood work and provide a clinical assessment so I can look deep into your case, into your symptoms, into your whole eczema journey. And from there, I create a tailored protocol for you to follow for the next 6 months. And within one-on-one coaching, not only this, you also get access to all of the video lessons, all the modules inside Clear Eczema. And the best part actually is if you are someone who likes to be in a community, you want to be around like-minded individuals, you also get to be a part of my group community as well as a one-on-one client. And we have weekly group calls together that you can attend on top of our one-on-one coaching calls that you'll get as a one-on-one client. And of course, with the community aspect, you also get to communicate with the members on a regular basis. We have a group chat going on. So that's just a space for you to share your wins, share your struggles, share tips and recommendations between you and your other fellow eczema and TSW besties. And if this sounds interesting to you and you're really looking to heal your flares, reduce the itch, learn how to use diet to nourish your body, you want to learn how to heal the gut, you want to improve your mindset, then coaching is going to be for you. And you can simply apply in the show notes below. Once your application goes through, we'll have a free call together to discuss when to start and how to get things going. And of course, I'll send along the amazing holiday gift. So that's basically what else is happening over the next week. And for the rest of December is my one-on-one coaching spots are open. And then in January, I'm actually planning to host a free live masterclass with a new topic. So I'm excited for that as well. If you're looking for some more free content and free tips, then definitely keep your eyes peeled and keep an eye out on your email if you're on my email list to hear more about the masterclass that's coming up in January. Okay, let's get into today's episode 44, all about why positive thinking isn't enough for your mindset. I think this is a really important topic because when we think about mindset, a lot of times we think, oh, working on your mindset just means I always have to think positive. And if I think positive, that means it's going to change my mindset very quickly and that's all I have to do in order to improve your mindset. However, this is actually further from the truth. And I want to dive deep today on why positive thinking alone isn't enough. And I want you to take away from this episode to think about, what positive thinking really means to you. And the other side of the spectrum is actually negative thinking and how doing the work when it comes to your negative thoughts actually is what is going to help you with improving your mindset. So let's talk about that. So when we think about positive thinking, it's like kind of how the word is described. When you're thinking positive, let's say you're in a situation that is negative, and we're going to use eczema as an example because the podcast is about eczema. Let's say you have a consistent thought about how you hate your eczema and how it looks. And so when you're trying to think positive from that, then you'll want to be like, okay, if I have this thought of how much I hate my eczema, then the positive thought will be, I love my eczema and I love this journey because it's teaching me something. Now, the problem with this is, yes, it can be helpful, absolutely, to shift your mindset of having a negative thought to a positive thought. But what actually is more important is finding the root cause of why you're having these negative thoughts in the first place. It's looking deeper into why these thoughts keep coming up, because there's a reason why they're coming up, right? For example, with me in my healing journey, I tend to have the same negative thought of me never doing enough, right? When I was trying to heal my skin, I would always think, I'm not doing enough, even though I literally was doing so much. Like I was on a diet, I was taking a bunch of supplements, I was trying to practice more self-care and, all the things you can think of to help me control my eczema as much as possible, I did. However, I still kept having this thought of like, why do I feel like I'm not doing enough? Why is it not enough? Then I realized that the thought of not enoughness came from my childhood. And as a child growing up, I constantly felt like I was never meeting my mom and dad's standards when it comes to things. I would go to school and come home with like a 90% on a class, like math class or science class. And my parents would be like, oh, you should have gotten 95%. I remember there's times in my healing journey going through TSW, I would like heal so well and see like big changes in my eyes. Like literally it would be from like very inflamed skin to maybe slightly inflamed. And then people would make comments about it, like my parents, my family, even strangers, which is very common. They would be like, oh, it's still not healing. Like, why is it not healing? Like you're doing all these things. And having these external influences really impacted the way that I thought about myself and the way that I felt like I was not doing enough. And it carried on over the years as I got older. Like now, even I still fight with myself. I'm just like, when I'm working, it's like, okay, I'm not doing enough. If I have one day off, why do I feel guilty? Right. And so what it comes down to when you are figuring out these negative thoughts that you're having, it's not just about shifting it positive. Yes, we want to do that, but it's figuring out the root cause of why you have this consistent thought that isn't serving you. And for my particular case, it's because I grew up from a family who was really strict on me, parents who were really strict on me. And I always felt like I was never doing enough to meet people's standards or to meet my parents' standards. And so when it comes to my eczema and trying to heal it, I always felt that I was never doing enough because the root of that was from my childhood. So what I'm trying to say here is right now, if you can think about one thought that keeps coming up regarding your eczema, yes, I want you to shift that disempowering thought to empowering thought. In other words, negative to positive, whether it's through journaling or through affirmations. But I actually want to do more of that shadow work and do more of that deep work, as in, like, where is this thought coming from? Because it doesn't just come out of nowhere. It comes from somewhere, right? Here is another example I can think of. Like maybe right now your eczema is slowly healing and it's like a little bit at a time, right? You're noticing it and you feel it, whether it's a little bit less itch, maybe the inflammation's gone down a little bit, maybe it's not as flaky, but then you still have this thought of, oh, my eczema looks terrible and I don't like how it looks. And it keeps repeating over and over and over again in your head, even though you can literally see that your skin's healing, but you still have that thought that keeps coming up about how bad it looks, right? So then I want you to uncover that. Like, where did that thought come from? Is it because maybe growing up as a child, people would always comment on your skin about how terrible it looked and it really affected you emotionally, and it's like a wound and it's basically trauma of people consistently commenting on your skin, so that now as you're older, even though yes, you see your skin healing, you just can't get over the thought about how terrible it looks, despite that it actually isn't that terrible. So that's another example of a common thought you might be experiencing. And another example I can think of, and it's because I actually went through this myself, is knowing and feeling that my eczema is healing. I could physically see it. However, I keep thinking about when the next flare is going to happen. And I start to worry and overthink and wonder, is this actually healing? Or when is the next flare going to come? Right? And you keep having that consistent thought of, oh, the next flare is going to come. The next flare is going to come. But where is this thought coming from? And for the most part, for a lot of you, it might be because you've been conditioned to believe that flares will always come and you're used to having consistent flares. And so when you actually see yourself healing, literally, you don't believe it and you start to self-sabotage it. And then that's when the negative thinking keeps going and going and going. And you can't get rid of this negative thought because it's bringing you back into the past of what you're familiar with and what you're used to. So positive thinking isn't just about noticing the thought and trying to think the opposite. It's finding out what is the root of why you're having these consistent thoughts. And I hope that these examples are relatable. I'm literally pulling out of my own examples that I went through when I was trying to heal my eczema. And also some of my clients have shared the same thing as well. Now, The other thing I want to mention too about why positive thinking isn't always enough for your mindset is the fact that I want you to think about how often you are repeating negative thoughts versus positive thoughts. For the most part, because our brains are always looking for problems, we tend to repeat negative thoughts more than positive thoughts. And so in the grand scheme of things, when you're looking at your overall day, remembering that improving your mindset is about repetition. If you're repeating negative thoughts in general more than positive thoughts, then that's not going to help with your mindset, right? That's going to be hard on you. And so I always say when it comes to working on your mindset, it's like training a muscle at the gym. Muscles don't grow overnight. It literally takes time, consistency, and effort. And it's no different when it comes to your mindset. It doesn't happen overnight. You have to literally keep training that muscle in your brain to repeat affirmations, to journal often, to uncover the root cause of why you're having these negative thoughts and try to shift them in an effective way. And once you are able to repeat it over and over and over again every single day, mindset is a journey. I'm still working on it every single day. That is when you're going to start to notice a difference in your mindset. And then as a result, you will notice a difference in your eczema as well. My clients shared with me not too long ago in our Clear Eczema group call on over the past 6 months, they've noticed a huge shift in their mindset. Like in the beginning, they were all struggling. They didn't know how to get themselves out of a dark place. They had constant self-sabotaging thoughts, constant negative thinking. But over time, as they continue to repeat the tools and things I've taught them inside Clear Eczema, 6 months later, they are feeling much lighter. They are feeling much better. They can turn around their negative thinking quite quickly, and they just at a much better place. And so right now, if you're struggling with your mindset, just remember it takes time. It takes repetition. It's not easy, but it is very rewarding and inspiring when you're able to notice slowly that your mindset gets stronger with time. And also remember as well, positive thinking isn't just about thinking, like thinking positive and like blah, 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 right? It's like I said, looking into the root cause of why you have negative thinking. But not only this, it's also trying to connect the mind and the body. So you may have heard me talk about the mind-body connection and how your mind affects your physical symptoms, your emotional symptoms. The mind and the body are connected. And one thing that was really interesting that I learned from my therapist the other day is that oftentimes us as humans, we are always in our mind, but our body's actually disconnected from our mind. So we'll think a lot about staying positive and trying to think our way through the eczema healing journey and try to be positive all the time, but our body actually doesn't feel it. Like there's a disconnect between what you're thinking, like even if it's positive thoughts, to what your body's actually feeling. And so it's important that when you are trying to work on your mindset, you try to connect your mind with your body as well and really feel in to the things that you're telling yourself. So emotions are really powerful here. And when you have positive thoughts, you're going to have positive emotions. And when you have positive emotions, this is when your reality changes. This is when your healing starts to happen because your body can literally feel what your mind is trying to tell you. So remembering that the mind-body connection is important, you want to try and make sure that what you tell yourself, your body can actually feel. And again, this takes time and repetition. It's not like an immediate thing where you think positive thought and then your body feels it right away. It's practicing it daily through whatever works for you, whether it's journaling, affirmations, doing therapy, asking for help, like all of that is going to get you closer in improving your mindset, strengthening it, and just feeling more connected with yourself, which is so, so important when it comes to eczema healing. We get lost in the journey. We get lost in our minds. We get lost in our negative thoughts. And sometimes, what can be the game changer with healing flares is to just be more connected to yourself and have that mind-body connection as well. Okay? That is what I have for today's episode. I hope you found it helpful and I hope it makes sense to you about today's topic. If you have any questions, you can reach out to me at any time. Love to chat with you guys in the DMs. If you have anything related to mindset, diet, anything like that, you can DM me on Instagram at juliachan.rd. And if you want to work with me as well and you resonate with the way that I approach things, then you can apply for my group or one-on-one program in the show notes below. It is my favorite thing that I do every week, which is clear eczema, my 6-month program. And if you apply before the end of December, end of the month, then we are giving away a skincare bundle, my favorite brand, delivered to your home. And so if you want a holiday gift and you want skincare that actually works, then make sure you go to the show notes and apply. And I'm excited to review your application. Love you guys so much. And I hope you have a lovely holiday, and we will see you next week. Thanks for tuning in to today's episode. Now, before I let you go, I want to let you know I have this amazing eczema visualization. This visualization has helped me so much when it comes to manifesting eczema healing flares faster than I can ever imagine, reducing the itch, and just feeling great in my body. This is the exact same visualization I use for my own healing as well as my clients' healing as well. And if you want to receive this visualization, then all you have to do is leave us a review and tell us what you think about the podcast, screenshot it, send it to your email at hello@juliachin.ca, and you will receive the visualization to your inbox. I look forward to seeing your review, and we will see you in the next episode.